In this podcast episode, I get to talk to Jackie Kearn and David Clayton, both massage therapists, both based in Adelaide. They have been working together on a podcast called the Folding Towels Podcast. And this is the story behind the people. Get to know both Jackie and David as they tell us about their journey into massage and how that was for them leaving full-time careers and transitioning into the world of massage and becoming therapists. This is the backstory behind the podcast. So listen and enjoy the journey that they both took. Hello, David and Jackie.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you so much for being here today. And I am going to ask you to introduce yourself. So I'll start with David and then I'll come to Jackie. Okay, so David, give us an elevator pitch of who you are and what sort of therapist you are.
Sure. So I am a husband, a father of two, and I just happen to be a massage therapist as well. I've been in the industry, depending on what measure you use, either 7 years or 20 years, depending on when I turned pro. I run my own practice out in the northeastern suburbs of Adelaide. My business is a journey. It has taken a few different turns and a few chapters, from being a little bit radical and being on my own to trying my world in sports therapies in a CrossFit gym, to going to work with a chiropractor, to employing a couple of staff. And reinventing myself back to being a solo therapist, and I'm now in the process of ruminating of who I want to be again, and where that might take me.
Brilliant, thank you. And we have the wonderful Jackie. Good morning, lovely to meet you, because we haven't met before, but David and I know each other fairly well.
Yes, I see you all over the internet, so that's how I know you.
Yeah, it's my favorite place to hang out. So welcome, Jackie. Can you help the people who listen to this podcast just get to know you a little bit more?
Well, so I have been a massage therapist for 12 years or thereabouts. And before I came to the world of massage, I basically worked in retail my whole life. So I really did a 180 and decided to take a bit of a leap of faith to become a therapist, as it were, quite a few years ago now. And so I'm also in Adelaide. David and I both live in South Australia. He's northeast, I'm northwest.
Don't get the two confused.
They are very different areas.
Okay, noted.
And so when I started, I had grand plans of being a business owner and having therapists employed and doing this and that, and none of that has actually come to fruition, but I'm not upset about it at all. It just never happened. I can't really even pinpoint why. It just didn't happen. But so, yeah, now I do a lot of pregnancy massage. I do a lot of lymphatic drainage massage. And I have a wonderful group of clients. Absolutely love my clients. And on top of that, I also do some mobile massage in the aged care sector as well. So I do that 2 days a week. And I've been doing that for about 5 or 6 years. And for the most part, I do love it. There are some tough times when you work with elderly folk sometimes, but it's very rewarding as well. And I have a couple of extra grandparents almost with some of my aged care clients, which is really cute. They're so lovely. So, yeah, so I do a little bit of everything, really. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing, a wide variety of people that you like to connect with. Yeah, really nice. Almost like the full life cycle of a person.
Almost, yeah, almost.
Yeah.
That's really true, yeah.
Yeah, cool. So we're going to touch on, like, Why did you choose massage therapy? Jackie mentioned she was in retail before. I know David has a corporate background. So what got you into being a therapist?
Well, for me, I don't know if this is an easy answer or an obvious answer, but it didn't feel like it at the time, but it does now. I was working this terrible retail job for this company here in SA, and I was in middle management, and I just hated it. I hated going to work, and then I ended up becoming pregnant and knew I was going to have 12 months off work, and decided I'm going to do something else so that I don't have to go back to this job that I really didn't enjoy. And at the time, I couldn't have told you why really I didn't hate it, but now I can say it was a values mismatch. They didn't have the same values that I do. I did, or I do. And yeah, I'm like, well, I'm going to take this 12 months of maternity leave and I'm going to use that somehow and retrain and do something different. And I decided on massage therapy. Basically, that's it. I just decided I'm going to do massage because I kind of wanted to go to uni, but with a newborn, I thought, oh, that sounds a bit scary. I don't know if I can do that. And I thought this might be a good stepping stone to something else. And then I've just never left because I love it.
The stepping stone seemed like the journey's end. It was like after you started doing it, you're like, actually, this rocks. Love it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I loved it so much. And I had the best time at TAFE every day. I went to TAFE here in SA to study. And every day at TAFE was just the best. I loved the people that I was learning with, and I loved the lecturers, and I was so excited to be doing this and learning a new skill. And yeah, it was just amazing. And I just never stopped. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I can kind of relate to the never stopping part.
Yeah.
And you, David?
A bit of a long journey as well, and some similarities to Jackie. I did my first courses in massage back when I was in my very early 20s as part of an extension of my martial arts. So I was fascinated around particularly acupressure points, and I wanted to learn more. I also wanted to learn more anatomy to help me make me a better fighter.
Which bones to break.
How do joints and muscles work? And so the easiest way to do that was to take a massage course, which then led me into sports medicine. So I was working in government at the time, local government and state government. And massage was just something I did for fun. I'd go out to footy clubs and massage legs, or I'd go out to things like university games or masters games and do sports med and massage on the side, and then massage friends for fun. Started to learn more skills, but I was working in a particular local government, and I did really enjoy what I did. I believed in what I did, but the organisation had a leadership change, and they started to go in a different direction, and similar to Jackie, a bit of a values mismatch. Where they wanted to go and where I believed, or what I believed was the right thing to do, were two different things. And I was being asked to do things which didn't gel well with me. And again, you get to that point of going to work and feeling dirty. And I woke up one morning. I was in a particular meeting where I was not the type of person that I wanted to be, and I realized that I'd become like everyone else in the organization. And that was the day I resigned.
Wow.
And I'd already been upskilling in massage at the time. It was like, oh, do I want this as another job? Because I had a background in exercise and in recreation and sport, I thought maybe I could be a physiotherapist. The university was offering an 18-month accelerated course into physiotherapy at the time. And I inquired that, and you had to have enrolled within 10 months of completing your degree. And I was at 10 years and 1 month. They just said, no, you can't do your master's in physio. Oh, what do I do? I can't go back to study for 4 years full time and quit my job. that's not right. And the school that I enrolled in for massage held weekend courses and after-hours courses. So that took 4 years to complete my diploma part-time. I had 2 children in that time. So when I resigned, my daughter was 9 months old. It was quite a step with a young family and a mortgage to quit a safe, permanent, full-time job and say, I'm starting a massage business.
Yeah. Wow.
It was a wild ride.
Yeah.
My teachers at Natural Health Academy, my motivation at the time was that I'm going to go into sports. I'm going to work with elite athletes. I think that's a typical male dream for massage.
Yeah.
And I had some wonderful teachers who practiced some older skills and also some different skills. And I was introduced to the world of myofascial release and craniosacral therapy and working at a more holistic level than just grinding people into the table.
The smash and bash.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to kind of circle back to both of you. So both of you had full-time jobs, steady income. What did your friends and family think of this, excuse me, pivot in career choice? Did you get some pushback? Did you get some opinions? What happened?
Oh, gosh.
A few. Particularly from family members who are like, you're the breadwinner of the family, what are you doing?
Right.
Because that's the heteronormative roles of society is that men go to work and they earn the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also have a very career-driven wife who's very passionate about her work, and she wanted to work full-time too. She's like, yes, let's do this. You're a bad person when you come home. But she was very supportive. I had a few family members who had some opinions, and then it was my colleagues who were going, oh, you're so lucky you've got something to go to. Now my background is as a planner. It's like, no, I planned. This has been in the making now for 4 years.
Yeah.
For 4 years, I've planned my exit.
Yeah.
Cool. That's really interesting, David, that you said about the difference, that your...
The societal norms.
Yeah, because I don't think I had any of that. Even though I was working like a full-time job on a salary, middle management, I was coming home from work crying. I mean, I was pregnant at the time, so that probably had a bit of a part to play. But I would come home from work crying, like I can't go back. I was just, I just hated every minute of being there. And then towards the end, the beginning was fine, but towards the end, it just got worse and worse. And everyone was supportive. My mum was like, oh, this is terrible, because I would ring her on the way home going, I can't stand it anymore.
Oh, love.
I had a terrible day. And my husband as well was very much, this is going to be great. You'll go to uni or go to TAFE or whatever, and it'll be a great decision, because he knew that whatever I was going to do, I was going to give it 110% and I was going to make it happen. I'm not a person that sits around and waits for things to happen for the most part. If I want to do something and I've made up my mind, that's it, I'm doing it, and you can consider it done. So, nice. Yeah. So I don't think I got any pushback really at all. Yeah.
That's awesome. And nothing around, because I personally have had the whole... well, actually, my husband's had it. I've been off working. I've been off traveling, doing events and things, associated with massage. And one of the kids is, called the parent who's on. So my husband, basically. And he's said to a colleague, oh, my son, I've got to pick him up from school. He's not feeling well. And the colleague's gone, where's your wife?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
so
my
husband's gotten flack for his wife being career driven.
Mm-hmm.
And David's nodding. He's going,
yeah. Mm-hmm. I have to say though, my brother made a comment to me after I was about halfway through the massage course.
Yeah.
And my brother said something to me, which I still laugh about to this day. I find it quite hilarious. And I think I'm pretty sure he said it in jest. But he's like, why do you want to touch naked people? Why do you want to touch naked people all day? And I'm just like, okay, firstly, I don't. And secondly, that's not what this is. I don't know if he remembers saying that, but I've never forgotten it. I thought that was really funny. But I went in with my eyes, I don't know if it's open or closed, but I just never ever thought about any of the subversive side of what some people can see massage as. And I just remember that so well.
Leaving job security was scary.
Yeah.
Even though I was at the point where my health was declining, it was a very unhealthy workplace, both from a soul perspective and from a physical health. And, a lot of people in the workplace are very, very overweight. Not just a sign of poor physical health, but
stress.
emotional stress. People were nasty to each other, and at the point where my stomach was frequently upset or have panic attacks in the workplace. But still, leaving security was scary. It was super scary. And I have to say that over the 3 years we've endured with pandemic, I did miss the thought of security, some job security.
Yeah, I guess when we look back, it can be like, oh, it's kind of like in that glow. We remember the good stuff rather than the reality.
The regular income.
The regular income.
Paid time off.
Yeah.
And I miss my colleagues terribly. I worked in a great team. I miss them terribly. But I've been doing some planning for next year, and we've got an episode coming up on planning for the year ahead.
That's cool.
And I'm sitting there, and I've put in my 7 weeks of annual leave for the year. Work a 4-day week these days. we both have Fridays off.
Yeah.
This is excellent. I've already put in things like school sports carnival and student free days into my diary.
Book week.
Book week, yeah.
Book weeks in there. That's a big parenting calendar.
That's
flag, isn't
like
it?
11 and a half months away. We've only just done book week.
Oh. Was it an easy transition to become a business owner? And when you became a business owner, was that kind of on purpose, or was it more like, I'm a hobbyist who wants a business, but actually, for me, I kind of always been quite driven and went in thinking this has to work. And what skills am I missing? Went and found those as much as I could at the time with limited resources. Yeah.
I'm definitely the same. I never thought of this as a hobby. I was just a beginner and learning. It was never a hobby. It was always, if I'm doing it, I'm going to make it work, and I'll just keep going until it works. Or, if it hadn't worked, if at some point I had wanted to quit, I would have and done something else. But I just enjoyed the flexibility and being my own boss so much, and having, like you said, I can, if I need a day off, if I only want to work 3 days or 4 days or 6 days a week, whatever it is, I'm in charge of that. And that just appealed to me so much. So I wanted to make it work. And there's been so many times that I have actually wanted to quit. I've just been crying about whatever it is, lack of clients or just whatever, and I have been through that, but I've just got up the next day and thought, I can't go back to work for someone else. I could never do that again.
Yeah. How about you, David?
Like I said, my exit was planned. So I was massaging after work and on weekends, probably for 12 months before I left my full-time employment, my government gig. So the day that I went full-time in my massage business, I already had 15 people booked in for that week, which we see our colleagues coming through in like Massage Business Support Network and they'll have a handful of people, or maybe one or two people in their opening weeks. So I'd strategically planned my exit, so I was at a good level before I made that jump. My background is in planning and in policy. Everything I do is with purpose. Sometimes that means it's without emotion or without the fun. And whilst Jackie thinks that I love policy, I don't love policy. I just believe it's extraordinarily necessary.
I'm very grateful that you do, because it means I don't have to do as much. I can just copy off David.
But when I opened,
I've seen his policy-making genius in action. It's incredible.
Yeah,
it's incredible,
he's very good at that stuff.
He's very good at that.
Yeah, he's very good at it.
Part of my previous work was interpreting complex things into real world language so the everyday person could understand. Because you had to sell difficult concepts to either to the public or to people who are decision makers. And that's where the policy stuff, that's my passion around policy, is information that makes sense to the common person.
Nice.
But when I started out in my practice, I very much hated people, and I wasn't ever going to have employees.
Oh, wow.
I was going to be completely on my own. Lunchtimes would just be me and my dog.
How did that work out for you, David?
And then after about 18 months, I wrote this really ambitious business plan. I was actually looking at it last night, and by 2019, I was supposed to have 4 staff working for me across 3 locations and a business turnover of 250,000 a year, and I was going to be doing all these things. Anyway, other things have happened, and I'm back to being an honest small micro business.
Yeah, cool. And you're happier for now until you decide, you know what, that grandiose plan, might relook at that.
Some people are natural human leaders, and whilst I don't dislike people, and I do generally love people, I found having staff to be very stressful from that business aspect, particularly money stress, and particularly the last 3 years where business was a little bit
lumpy
and
income.
keeping people busy so that you can afford to pay them and still afford to pay you yourself and still meet your expenses. That was an incredible amount of stress, and I'm a lot happier just being on my own.
And I can relate. I have been in that place where I've looked at my business and gone, I'm not making the profit I need to. What lever do I need to change?
In October last year, I've called my accountant and I'm sobbing on the phone to him going, I think I'm bankrupt.
And I'm laughing. That's terrible. Sorry.
Well,
David.
he laughed at me as well. And he said, I'll call you back in half an hour. I'm going to come back with some real numbers for you. I just need a bit of time. You're not bankrupt. You're far from bankrupt. Tell me why you think this. And I have a safety net in my mind of, if my bank account hits this, I'm done for. And I was within a few dollars of that. He's like, your version of insolvency is probably a little too conservative.
Hilarious. So that's like that financial thermostat, you know, when we've got heat in a room, we get it to a level where we're comfortable. Yeah, a nice comfortable heat. And then sometimes we can adjust the temperature to be a little bit cooler than we're comfortable, or a little bit hotter. And it's interesting when, you know, you're in a marriage or a business partnership, whose financial thermostat are we working from here, you know? Which can be fun as well. And you can adjust it, you know, as the seasons change. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. And all these things come down to your appetite for risk. And how much risk
I'm married
to
to a
take.
scientist who is incredibly conservative.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm the risk. How about you, Jackie? How did you go with the whole, you know, I'm creating my own income, I'm providing you know, contributing or matching the, you know, financially in my family, I'm contributing?
Well, at the moment, to make it a heteronormative, I am the sole breadwinner. Well, no, okay, not sole. My husband does work, but I bring in more money than him. I make more money. I work more hours, and make more money. And he is incredibly supportive. He does a lot of the house stuff. He does a lot of the stuff with the kids and whatnot. But yeah, it is. It's been a journey. I've been, as we mentioned before, I've been fairly driven my whole life, and I knew if I wanted to make it work, I could make it work. I knew I had the brains to do it, and I knew if I didn't have any of the skills I needed, I could figure it out or find the skills or find somebody to help me do it. Yeah, and so far, so good. There were a lot of up and down times, not just because of COVID, but other reasons as well, family reasons and whatnot. And yeah, so it's not been a straight line. It's been a squiggle, my business journey.
Yeah. Just, it's been life. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I really just, even though I had quite a few times over the years where I wanted to give up, it's too hard, all the changes that have happened to social media over the years, I can't keep up, there's so much paperwork, all of those things, I would have my cry and then basically pick myself back up and go, okay, right, what can I do? How can I fix this problem? How can I get back up on the horse, really? And I've just stuck by that, have a bit of a cry, have a whinge, stamp my feet. And then at some point you've got to pick yourself back up and go, okay, well, if I'm doing this, I'm doing it. Like, I'm going to get back out there and do it. And that's kind of been the whole thing that I've done for 12 years, really.
Yeah.
And I just love it so much. I love the people that I know. I love what I'm doing. I'm so in love with lymphatic drainage as a therapy. Like, it's so good. And my pregnancy clients as well, it's just so fulfilling seeing them walk out of the room going, oh my God, like my hip pain is gone. Like, I can't believe it. So yeah, so that's what drives me. That's what keeps me going. And like any job, there's always going to be something that you don't like. There's always, tax time is for everybody, not just self-employed people.
It's true story. True story.
So,
yeah.
So there's negatives everywhere. Why not do what you love? Yeah.
You're so speaking my language, and there's so much in there that I absolutely love. I can also relate to being the breadwinner in Scotland. My husband was a university lecturer, and I was earning more money than he was. Yeah. And that was very challenging in our relationship dynamic at that particular time. We kind of swap around. When he was doing his PhD, I was the bare money. Yeah. Because we didn't, But also, I love that you love lymphatics as well in your beautiful pregnancy therapist. But most of all, I think I love the stand back up attitude, that true grit. And I can hear the self-compassion in that too. So acceptance and self-compassion is definitely the antidote to panic, that whole flailing myself on the altar of massage, that whole thing. Yeah. So I just hear that in wheelbarrow loads. It's like incredible. I'll absolutely love it. So
it's taken a long time for me to have this much compassion for myself, because I am a perfectionist, and if for a long time I would just get so upset, and most of the problem was myself, just being too hard on myself, and so it's taken a long time.
What did you do? How did you arrive at this place, Jackie?
I don't really know. Some therapy and a lot of talking with my husband. My husband is really wonderful. He is very supportive. And I'm fairly confident that if I didn't have as much support from him as I do, I would be an absolute mess. So, yeah, and just trying to be kinder to myself along with being kind to everyone, because as we all know, and let's not talk about it, but the entire world is a bit of a basket fire at the moment. So yeah, I'm just trying to be kinder to everybody. And basic, I guess really the interaction that you have with people one-on-one when you do massage, in that you're in that little bubble and you're really wanting to create a better environment for that person. I've tried over the years, maybe even without thinking, to expand that to other people if I can, and look at the way that you're so kind to your clients and you just want the best for them, and you just, in your own way, you love your clients because they're, that it's such a symbiotic relationship. Mm-hmm. So I've tried to expand that to include the relationship I have with myself. Because for a long time I didn't. I grew up in the 90s as an angsty teen. Yeah, so I don't know. You just try.
Yeah, I guess we're all just doing the best we can with what we have.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure that a lot of people are going to find a lot of wisdom and power in that.
I hope so.